What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video. Today I have with me Dr. Flo, aka Serge Luca. How you doing, buddy?
Hey, I'm doing well. What about you, John?
I'm doing good. I'm healing up. I'm feeling better every single day. I got some events on my calendar, and so I got some things to look forward to. I'm feeling good.
What's your next event?
Actually, I'm going this weekend to something called SharePoint Landia. There's a panel where it will be Webcon, Nintex, and Flow, and I will be there to represent Flow. And then since I agreed to come, they actually also said, "Hey, we didn't have a keynote. Would you like to be our keynote?" And so I'm also going to do a keynote.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah, it's like a SharePoint Saturday event. I think it's on Saturday, but they're calling it SharePoint Landia, which is cool. If you know Portland, Oregon at all, that would make sense to you.
I have never been to Oregon.
Yeah, you should check it out. It's a cool city. It's a lot like Seattle.
There's a very good reputation indeed.
Yeah. All right. Enough about that. Today, we're talking about Flow and Power BI. We're bringing back the Connector series, and Serge here is going to share with us what are the capabilities of the Power BI Connector, and also what can we look forward to in the future about what's coming for this connector. So, without further ado, Dr. Flo, I'm going to let you take it away.
Okay. Thank you, John. So, indeed, I get many questions about the relationship between Flow and Power BI. And that's a topic I really like because, as you know, I work with Isabel van Kampenhout, so my business partner. So she's a VP in data, so she's the Power BI specialist. So almost every day we talk about Power BI things, Power Platform. So people are very interested about this topic here. And in this video, I will just quickly give you a quick overview of what's going on between Flow and Power BI. I will quickly show you some demo, but in another video, I will get deeper into the detail, right?
That's right, part 1 and part 2. I know some people are like, "Oh, you make us wait," but I want to just make sure that we give proper attention to every topic.
Exactly.
And so I think 2 videos for Power BI makes sense.
Yeah, I think so. So in this slide, I will show you the relationship between Power BI and Flow and Microsoft Flow. And so we have Microsoft Flow, and Flow can connect to data source, so on any kind of data source. So we have 270 connectors. Most of them are, not all of them, but most of them are different data source, right? So you can connect virtually to anything. So Flow can read and write data from and to these data sources. And well, that's not new. The thing is, if your data source is on-prem, and many people still have and will have database on-prem, like Cube, so analysis service, thing like this. So you need to use the data management gateway, and this requires a P1 license. In the past, it was in the Office 365 Flow license, but now in the future, you will need P1. So that is very important, right? First thing.
Yep. I like your Joker icon for it too.
Yeah. So next is, well, yes, to get back to the interaction between Flow and data sources. And you know that to filter data from a data source, you can use an OData filter. So John, you did a video a few weeks ago with Hamad.
Yep.
OData source, right? Using OData in Flow. So I recommend this video. It's very nice. OData can be very powerful, but sometimes there are limitations. Sometimes OData is too complicated. Don't take it wrong. I use OData all the time, right? But in some situation, when you have to make lookup, when you have to filter data, when you have to do what we call an ETL, extract transformation load, which is typical something that we do in Power BI or in BI in general, you need something else. And the something else is Power Query. So Power Query is the ETL for the poor or for the people like me, for instance, right?
So what is ETL?
So ETL is extract, transformation, and load. So that means
Okay.
you connect to your data source. They can be in different formats with many wrong information in there. So you can get rid of the wrong information, filter information, clean that up,
Got
realign,
it.
filter, make some, thing like this. So if you
Okay.
need that, and many people need that,
And that's
actually you
all
need Power
ETL.
Query.
And
So
so all that stuff is ETL.
it's an ETL. So there are many
Okay.
ETL products on the market, but the one we have in Power BI is called Power Query.
Got it.
Okay, so you need Power BI to do so, to use Power Query. And the thing is, if you want to leverage Power Query, you need to create a data set in Power BI. Okay, so you go to powerbi.com. Well, actually, you need to install the Power BI desktop tool. You create a data set. You publish everything to Power BI service, and your data set is online. So you have your data set connected to your data source, clean data set, and then based on this, you can create Power BI reports.
Mm-hmm.
And the good thing is these Power BI reports can be embedded in the SharePoint page. There is a Power BI web part, which is very easy to use in SharePoint. And the dataset data can be refreshed. So you can specify a schedule refresh. And I think in the Power BI Pro license, which is the license that most people have, that there is only maximum 8 refresh per day,
Okay.
which for most analytics is good enough,
Yeah.
right? So if you want more, you can buy the premium license. I think it gives you up to 48 refresh a day.
Got
Most
it.
people don't need that. Okay, so you have reports, and for instance, if you use Flow and approval, for instance, you may want to get an analytics on your approval. So you have to go through these steps. You have to store the approve information somewhere, and then you can analyze all the approval. So who is slow to approve, who is faster to approve, all the bottlenecks in approval. So you need this architecture, and it's very easy to deploy, right?
Mm-hmm.
So now the thing is, sometime you may need to push the data directly to Power BI report. So you want the Power BI report to be refresh live,
Live.
right? So for some real-time data, you need that. So, and from Flow, there is an action that I will show you quickly, where you can stream data directly into a specific data set. I think we call that a push data set. In the past, they call that a streaming data set. No, it's a push data set. And then your report gets refreshed live. Mhm. So we have the other way around as well, which is you can put some logic in Power BI that will trigger your flow. Example,
Mm-hmm.
if the amount of expense reach $3 million of dollars or euro, then you can trigger a flow that will alert the management.
That's the threshold I need. Three
Yeah,
million. That's
that's
yeah.
the one you need.
Yeah.
Yeah, it can even be worse because if you have existing flow with existing running approval, this flow can alert the existing flows that, hey, people, we reach a limit. Don't approve, wait. You see? So
Mm-hmm.
it can be more complex than that in the real
Mm-hmm.
world. So now the thing is, I mentioned OData. So there are a lot of limitations on OData. But the Flow team last year, I think it was last year,
Yep.
provided or integrated Power Query in Flow. So there is a specific action that allow people using SQL Azure to use Power Query. So I was very excited when I saw this because I really like Power Query. So I think everybody needs Power Query. But the thing is, there are a lot of limitations in this action. One of them is that it's only limited to SQL Server.
Mm-hmm.
The other are you cannot pass parameters, for instance. You see, so but still it's there. I will quickly show you how it works.
It was a definite V1 experience. Was like
Yeah,
a Kent project that he
exactly.
really wanted to see come in, and so I he was hoping someone would pick that up and kind of take it to the next level. But unfortunately, with his departure, that's one of the items that has kind of just sat.
Yeah, it was a very good idea. It was actually a very good job because bringing
Totally.
AI in the flow is something very, very nice, very powerful.
Yeah.
So limitation is it's only limited to SQL Server, and I will show you what's the workaround for this. There is also something that Power BI people want and need, is they may want to schedule their data set based on a logic which is in flow. So you can have a flow that periodically refresh a Power BI data set. So this is very popular in the Power BI world. But today, if we want to do so, we need to call the Power BI REST API from Flow, which is not complicated, but still you need to do it. So you need to use the HTTP action to do so, which is require P1. And in the roadmap for April, normally we expected an action that just allow you out of the box to refresh a data set, but we still have to wait a few weeks for this one.
Should be coming in the next month.
In the next month, okay.
Yep.
Okay. If you want, you can create a connector because there is an open API, a file that you can connect to and quickly create your custom connector if you want, right? That's probably the
there's did you say there's an open API file?
Yeah, there's an open API file somewhere in the cloud in Microsoft website. So you can connect your wizard directly to this open API file, and then you get, I think, 20 or 40 action or something like this.
Wow.
It's very nice.
Wow. Okay.
Okay. If you want more details, I recommend people to take a look at the Chris Webb, one of the Chris Webb posts, so people know who Chris Webb is in the Power BI community.
And there's two Chris Webbs, so
yeah, the one in Power BI.
Aware.
The
Power
one
BI Chris Webb, yeah.
I think it moved recently to Microsoft, right?
Okay.
Okay. Okay. What is very new in the roadmap is this thing, and I'm very, very excited about this, which is, let me show you the arrow here, which is this one, which is Flow will be able to query a data set. So you can create your data set, connect it to any data source, so not just SQL Azure, but any data source. So use Power Query on this data set, but Flow can still read the data. So you won't have to go through to use this action. Unless you want to get the data live, of course, which most people don't need. So this is very, very, very interesting and open to many business scenario, right? And you will be able to send, as part of your query, you will be able to pass a DAX expression. So Power BI people know what DAX is. So it's a way to manipulate or to transform the data. It looks like an Excel language, so it's quite easy to use, but yeah, it's very powerful. So a DAX expression.
I think you're the first person ever that I've heard say DAX is easy.
Well, in the past, to manipulate BI data, we had another language which was much, much more complicated. So compared to this other language, believe me, DAX is easier. It's way easier. Of course, you have to know what you do, but yeah, it's interesting. You see, so I will illustrate that in another video.
Okay.
Okay. So let's go through some of these features. Of course, I cannot illustrate this one because we are waiting for it.
It's not out yet.
Yeah, actually, there is something else, and Power BI people know what I mean, which is that we will be able, well, I don't know if we will be able to do so, but there is another concept that we call data flow. So you know the common data service? So we have entities. So in the past, we had common data service analytics. You remember that?
Yep.
There were two common data services, one for apps, the other for analytics. So the CDS for apps is what we used to call now CDS. And the analytics is called the data flow.
Got it.
It's like a way to store your BI data in entities as well. So we call it a data lake. And I would like to be able to connect Flow to my data lake as well, but it's not on the roadmap yet, as far as I know. So let's go to the demo to illustrate a few features. And let me go to my browser. And you know, this is a website that I really like. So it's a SharePoint site. that display analytics on expenses, and the expenses are approved by people. So the approval is quite complex scenario. I don't want to get into the details of the approval here, but as you can see, we have different status. So approve, in progress, rejected. So we can see this easily. So management can see this. It can filter. It's fully interactive, and also for each approval, I can get this detail. So I can see for every expense what was the approval scenario, and it's all based on Power BI. Let me filter on one data, one city, which is Antwerp. This is my expense to Antwerp. It has been to this approval, approval by this person, and then escalate to this one, re-escalate to this one, and finally this guy did approve. So I can follow all this stuff thanks to Power BI. And the thing is, behind this, we have a data set. So there is a data set in Power BI, and the data set is connected to my SharePoint list because the data is stored in this list. Travel expense with a status for the approval. The data for approval is powered by Flow. I have other lists like land managers and other as well. So I will quickly show you how that works. So to create this kind of analytics, you need to use Power BI Desktop. So in Power BI Desktop, you can create a data set. So you need to create a data model. So you connect your Power BI to one of the data source. So in my case, it's a SharePoint list. It's several SharePoint lists actually. So I have travel expense, the one I show you, but also anytime someone approve or reject, it's stored in another dedicated list, which is this one. I've also another list, SharePoint list called Line Manager to know who is supposed to manage. So this is Power BI Desktop. These are the data. And these are the reports. So this is the report we did create. Actually, I did that with Isabelle van Kampenhout, my business partner. So we did two kind of report, expense approval and approval analytics. Okay. And then you publish this and everything goes to Power BI service, powerbi.com. And this is my report, right? This is one report. This is the other one, expense approval, the one I showed you before. You see? So it's connected to a data source, to a data set. Okay, so if I can show you that, you see, I have a data set here, and I think, well, the list of data set, and this is my data set, flow analysis. So it's there, everything is there. So in the business, people need analytics all the time. Anytime you use approval, you will probably need analytics. Okay. So this explains the relationship between flow and the data set and the data source here, or the data set here. Also, I mentioned before that flow can stream data live directly to a Power BI report.
Yep.
And to illustrate that, let me go there. Where is it? It's this one, Demo real-time weather. Okay, so it's a very basic flow that runs every minute, that get the current weather at the current location, and here it send a row to Power BI. So this is the way to send data live to Power BI. So I have a Power BI dataset called Weather for Brussels. It's a real-time dataset. You just need to push your data into the dataset, and then you get a live refresh. So I will just try to show you the report. It's here. If I run, let's say we have 40 degrees, 40 degrees centigrade, which means 100 degrees Fahrenheit here.
Very hot.
Yeah, first I need to turn it off. To turn it on, I need to turn it on, right? So let me save it. I need to turn it on. Because it's a demo, I don't want it to eat all my.
You have it running every minute. That would not be good.
And this is my report, and normally I should get something like 40 degrees here. So it's live. Let me find the report, run. And I think it should be fine. So weather live. Yeah, we have 40 degrees, you see? So here,
Mm-hmm.
each 40 degrees, live. So it was refreshed live. So if
And
you have,
lots of humidity.
yeah, exactly. So if you have live data like IoT things, then this is a very nice way to capture that.
Very cool.
Yeah. Also, the link between SQL Azure and Flow. So this one, so Power Query on SQL Azure. So where is it? It's this one here. So this is a very, very basic flow that copy information coming from one SQL Server Azure database. So basically, we want to find all the expenses from all customer coming from UK, and we want to sum up their expenses. So this is very nice. So the name of the action is transform data using Power Query. So it's still in
Okay.
preview. And when you click on this, you will see that you can visually connect to the different data source. Here is the
Nice.
table. You can filter, you can put some logic, you can remove columns, you can expand associated table, you can filter. For instance, here I filter, we did it visually. You can filter all the record where the address is empty, for instance. You can connect to the order table. You can sum up the amount for every customer. You can merge the two data and you get a final result where you get for each customer the total amount for each customer coming from UK, the total amount. So
Nice.
the data source is quite complex, but you can get what you want visually in a few minutes. So you don't need OData
Yeah.
to do so. Doing that in OData would be impossible. You see?
Yep.
So that it just works. So this is actually Power Query embedded in Flow, right?
Yep.
So the other thing I want to show you is this. When Power BI can trigger a flow, so the data alert. So many people are not aware that this is possible. So example, let's say I'm going to a Power BI dashboard.
Mm-hmm.
You have total expense, and in the dashboard, you can see manage data alert. So you can
Mm-hmm.
create an alert. I've called it alert for company expenses. And the logic is if the amount is above 3 million, please send an alert. Okay. And
Okay.
you can easily hook up a flow to this alert. So just create a flow. You just need to have a flow with the when a data-driven alert is triggered. You can select the alert. So the flow designer connect to Power BI, so you get your alert. And then
That's
you do
nice and easy.
it's very easy. I mean, that's what
Yeah.
one flow. One flow because it's easy. Sometimes flow you need to make complicated thing in flow, but most of the time it's very easy,
Yep.
right? So it's very powerful and easy. Okay, so well, I think that's it for today.
Okay.
So
Awesome.
next time I will get into more details about this, but that was a quick overview, I think.
Yeah, so I mean, it's good. Today we covered all of the current actions that happen between Flow and Power BI, and you even demoed all of the current things. And we talked about what's coming in the future. And in video number 2, we'll have Serge build something rad that you can use right before our very eyes.
Yes,
How's that sound, Serge?
and as soon as we have something new in the roadmap that ship in preview, I will try to illustrate that.
Awesome. All right, guys. Well, you know what to do. Please like and subscribe to make sure that you don't miss another video. Much love from me. See you guys in the next video.
Thank you. Bye-bye.